Hey everyone, this is my brother Michael.
My brother Adam.
We're the Scharff brothers.
You're listening to Mentoring for the Modern Musician.
Hey everyone,
Welcome back.
welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Mentoring for the Modern Musician.
That's you.
That is you. You are the modern musician.
You're the modern musician.
Most of you, I would imagine.
Let that sink in.
You might be just there listening for you're a modern musician.
You might have by accident come across this podcast. That's all right.
That's all right. We're still going to make you feel better.
It's a big tent.
It is a big
Our
tent.
podcast is Big Tent.
It's a big podcast tent.
Big podcast tent.
Metaphorically speaking, we're not actually in a tent.
No.
We're not. And really, it's not that big a room either, so
Right.
I
And
don't think we could fit all of you in
I
here.
don't know if we can fit all of you in here. It'd be crowded.
But metaphorically speaking,
It's a big tent.
It's a large tent.
It's large. We want to include all of you.
We are inclusive.
Make your world better.
Exactly.
Make things better.
So, in the pursuit of that today for the modern musician,
Yes.
I was talking with my daughter, who is a modern musician.
She's a modern musician.
Also.
Yep.
And I was thinking about, she's in the constant pursuit of who's going to be in my band.
Yes.
Right? And so it started me thinking about, and she was like, you should really do a podcast on that. What the difference between being in a band
Right.
and being a solo artist,
Right.
right? And there are unique...
There's really unique things about it. Like for us, we were always in a band or we
Or
were
the
a
two of us.
duo.
Right.
And when you're a duo, it's still kind of like being in a band.
It is.
Because when you're touring, there's at least two of you.
Right. There's always conversation to be had if you want it,
It's exactly right.
right? And you share the experience.
Someone to celebrate with or commiserate with.
Exactly. Or even to just go, was that weird? That was weird, right? That was a weird thing that happened.
We're not going to really get into it because still nobody believes us. But there was this one night after a band practice in a McDonald's parking lot. It was like midnight. We were not on drugs.
Nope.
We were not high.
No drugs, no drinking, no nothing.
And we saw what we thought was an animal that we could not identify.
It was the strangest looking.
And it wasn't a chupacabra.
No, but it almost looked like a greyhound
With an alien head.
with an alien head.
We're starting to think it was maybe just an alien.
Maybe it was just an alien on all fours.
Maybe
that
they
it was-
walk on all fours.
Because what happened was it disappeared so quickly.
And we don't know what happened.
Don't know what happened. And this is, of course, before cell phones.
Right. So we didn't have anything to take a picture
Right.
with. And so if that had been,
just one of us,
and you try to describe it,
nobody.
nobody believed it.
Nobody believes you. Nobody.
Look, we were there.
I barely believe us.
I barely believe us.
I question it all the time. Did this actually happen?
But our stories are exactly the same.
Identical.
And so we can commiserate with it. So part of the deal is if you're a solo artist,
You don't get that.
lots of times you don't have somebody to go, did that just happen?
Right. You can't talk about the accommodations that you just stayed in.
Right.
And
I know where you're going. We're in Indiana, aren't we?
and well, I wasn't going to say that. It doesn't matter.
Could have been at any town, anywhere.
It could have been anywhere in the country.
Right.
Or the world.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you see, this is what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about, and we're not going to get into it because,
Yeah.
there may be people listening that.
That's right.
Right.
But what you want to do if you're how do you navigate
It's
this if you're a
lonely.
solo artist? It's
That's
lonely.
the point, right? It's lonely.
It's lonely, man.
It can be lonely when you're a solo artist.
It can be lonely and
because you're alone.
you're alone.
Thus, the term solo.
Right. The
Artist.
solo artist. Now, there's all kinds of unbelievable benefits
Yeah,
of being a solo artist, right?
absolutely.
All the decisions are up to you. What are we going to play? We're going to play what I want to play. When I want to play it.
Is that a benefit?
In the key I want to play it in.
Sometimes that's a benefit.
It can be a benefit.
It can be a benefit.
I'm trying to think of this in a positive way.
Right.
You can't ask anybody, what do you want to play?
Right.
What are we going to play?
All the money or tips are yours.
That's exactly right. Don't split that with nobody.
Right. Exactly. Although all the costs are yours too. Then.
There is that.
Right.
That's right.
So,
It's your responsibility to draw. Like if you're a band
Yeah.
and there's 5 of you
right.
and nobody comes, it's all of your fault.
It's all.
If you're a solo artist
And you don't show up.
and nobody comes to the show, it's all your fault.
Right.
And
It
it's
is.
all your fault.
Right. So you get the benefits and all the responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right. And what we mentioned earlier, you get that one, solo insular experience
Right.
of that was weird.
Right, exactly.
Or that was awesome.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now I have no one to share it with.
Right.
Right.
And so, and I think this is an important subject. I'm glad you actually came up with this topic for a podcast, because I think, we usually talk about bands,
Right.
right,
Right.
or a group or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's in this modern world.
There's less and less of that.
It's less and less because it's less practical, if nothing else, financially,
Yeah.
right? Because you're
Yeah.
splitting all
Right.
the time and effort and profit
Exactly.
with multiple people.
Right.
It doesn't mean you won't have a band. It doesn't mean that there aren't bands doing it. There are, but
Oh,
it's,
for sure.
it will be more and more common
Yeah.
that there will be solo artists.
Yeah. More. There's going to be more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So
I think there is already.
I think you're right. It's lonely. You cover that, and because the nature of being a solo artist is an insular experience, man.
It is. It is. And so that's one of those. That's one of the things to remember when you're doing this.
And everybody's
Right.
going at this point. Okay, guys, I get it. I'm depressed now. What, you just trying to make me feel bad? I'm a solo artist. You're just trying to point out all the awful stuff? Or?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
As always, we are here to lift your spirits and try to help you figure out a way to make this a positive,
Right.
rather than a negative. How do you siphon
how
all
do
the
you-
positive experience?
So
out of
how
this?
do you take this insular experience that you're having, where
Yeah.
you are responsible for all the good and you're responsible for all the negative, and
Yep.
and that whole experience
Yeah.
is really on you,
Yeah.
right? So what do you do about that to try to alleviate some of that feeling, right? Some of that, responsibility, some of that loneliness,
Right.
right? So that it is less of an insular experience.
All right. Well, let's start by talking about things that I see as a positive thing.
Yeah.
That I didn't notice until years later when I started doing solo gigs,
Right.
cover gigs, but
Yeah.
but solo gigs. I noticed there was a difference in the way people were interacting with
Oh,
me
totally. It's so much different, right?
that I had no idea.
No, we wouldn't have any idea.
because we always did gigs together,
Right.
right? So when you're a solo artist, anybody will come up to you
People talk to you.
and they'll just talk to you.
Dude, I had a solo gig the other night, and I was setting up, and this guy just talked to me for like 20 minutes while I was setting up.
Right?
Just because.
Nobody
He
ever.
would never. Nobody, that never happened with
That
when it's
never
you and I.
happened when it was you and I.
Right.
It still doesn't happen when it's you and I.
No.
And I get it, because when there's two people or a band, that's like a tribe. It's like a gang.
Right. It's a gang.
That
Right.
They're like, and even if they think you seem nice or they're there to see you,
Right. Right.
it's now a decision to go up and talk to you.
yeah.
Whereas if it's a solo artist, you can just go, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
So one of the things I would urge people to do if you're a solo artist is be open to that experience,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Understand that
Yes. Yes.
that
Exactly.
right from the get-go, be open to the experience of meeting other people,
Right.
and having just basic human interaction, just
Yeah.
conversation.
Yes.
And that is something that will happen more often when you're not a band,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
You have to make an effort to do that when you're a band.
Yes.
You split up
Yeah. You really
be
exactly. You gotta-
one-on-one.
Right. You got to split up.
so that you're more approachable.
Right.
But as a solo artist, you immediately have that. It's almost like maybe it's that they feel bad for you.
Could be.
You come into this place, you're all by
You're
yourself.
all alone. You're
look
looking
like
around where to put your stuff.
You look like a deer,
Right. Yeah.
separated from the herd,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Do deer hang out in herds?
Yes, they do. Yeah,
It's your
they do.
family,
They are.
like an elk.
Exactly. Yeah.
The lone elk. That's the name of your next tour.
There you go.
The
Lone
Lone
Elk.
Elk Tour.
Perfect.
But so they will come and approach you and talk
Yeah.
to you about whatever.
And this is one of the ways that you can feel less lonely.
Yes,
It is one of the ways that. So look, it's great for fan building,
absolutely.
right? It is absolutely great for fan building
Because it's a legitimate interaction with somebody.
and that's what you're always looking at for a fan.
And we're always harping on this. Fans are human beings
Exactly.
with lives,
Yes.
wants and desires, musical tastes, interesting things to say,
Right.
Not just a number to a like on your Instagram post.
Right.
That they're
Oof.
actually
Yeah.
humans, right?
Yeah.
And so this is something that solo artists have that can benefit them in a way that it's hard to see as a duo or as a band,
Yeah.
which is you really can, if you make the effort, see people who are fans of your
Right.
music as humans that you will remember from, like, the next time you come to that town, maybe that person will be there again.
Right. Hey, man, Bob's back.
And they
Right.
bring
Oh man, there's
a
Mary Jane.
friend,
She's here.
and they
Right.
like come to your show. And
Right.
if you open yourself up to, oh, cool, whew, you can calm down and go, that's somebody I know,
Right.
that remembers the last show,
And maybe wants to hang out after your show.
right?
Right. That maybe you will really forge a relationship with this person that's maybe not quite a friendship,
But it's at least a casual,
yes.
like a comfortable, casual acquaintance that you'll
Right.
see each time you come through.
Right.
And that's what you're going to do. You're going to come through. You might hopefully be playing in bigger clubs each time.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe it's a bar initially.
Yeah.
Then it's a little club.
Right.
And it's a bigger club.
Right.
Right?
Theater.
A little theater. Right? But
Exactly.
that you'll know people.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Like that should be part of your vision.
Right. Well, I think I've talked about this before on a couple of other shows. Is it blew me away? It was this is a long time. It was like at least 10 years ago. But when I went and saw Bare Naked Ladies at the Aganis Arena,
Oh, right.
in Boston,
right.
which the Aganis seats but I think it's like 5,000, 6,000
Yeah, it's like
seats.
5,000, 6,000 seats.
And they were talking to people by name
Yeah.
in the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And not just a couple of people, like a lot of people, because they had spent a decade fan building.
Yeah. And
Right?
and Boston's was a big town for them.
Yeah.
As a big part of their
Right, exactly.
their up and coming.
Exactly. So this is, that is a great example of, that is one of the ways that you can, sort of push off that loneliness, is to actually make some acquaintances in that area.
And ironically, it also helps tick off one of the questions that we always will ask you, which is, that's cool. Why do I care? And you care because, they're really fun to talk to.
Right.
They were always nice and they remembered people's names.
Right.
Okay, so do yourself a favor. After Bob walks away, go over to your phone,
Right.
do
the
a quick
town you're in.
description, write the town, and write down Bob with the baseball hat,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Jenny
Right.
with the flowered purse or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
right.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
they'll be wearing something different next time, but at least it will give you an idea.
Jenny with the bangs.
Jenny with the bangs, and then when you come back the next time, you can maybe remember, because if you remember somebody's
Right.
name when you come back,
Oh man.
they love it because that's what we all want. We all
Gold.
want to feel
Exactly.
connected. We all want to feel.
Yeah, well, don't forget to
Important.
do that at the venue that you're at too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people at the venue that you can.
So the staff,
Right.
the bartenders, or the door people, or
Right,
the sound person,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Same deal. Make yourself notes. Look,
Yep.
if you're going to be on the road by yourself,
Yeah.
you're going to have a little bit of time.
This is another one of those things that's on you, though, is that you can't turn to the person
Right.
next to you and go, "What was their name?"
What's the sound guy's name? I used to do that all the time.
And every sound guy can't be, "Hey, man.
Hey, brother. Hey, you.
Hey, you. How you been, my man?"
Remember names. And that's the thing. You always have, just like you always
Right.
have a camera with
Yeah.
you now, with
Yes.
your phone, you always have notes.
Yeah.
Just
You do.
make a note in your
Just
phone.
Make a note in your phone.
And then
exactly.
that's one of the things you can do as you're having a hard time falling asleep. Review your notes.
Right.
Right?
Right. No, exactly. So the other thing, so a couple of other things that you can do if you are touring, is you can look for opportunities to have someone on the road with you.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
So if you can afford it, then you can have an accompanist with
Oh,
you. Right?
yeah, like a side person.
Right, like I said, so just the example that pops up into my head is Ingrid Michaelson for years toured with her female bass player,
Yeah.
right? And they just toured together.
Yeah.
That's just what they did.
And
right?
what was brilliant for her about that was that helped her quell the loneliness, and it was a smart idea for a woman to not
Yeah.
not be. I mean, we'd love to live in a world where that didn't matter.
Yeah.
That a woman traveling on her own wouldn't matter.
Right.
But we don't live in that world yet.
Right,
So
safety. Remember,
safety
we
is
talk
always
about that a lot too. Safety, safety, safety.
is always important. That
If you are all by yourself, really be on your game, aware.
Yep.
Maybe get yourself a little pepper spray or a taser or something.
Yeah, totally.
That just to be be safe.
Yeah.
I
I mean, you're out there spreading your art and doing
Right.
your job, and you're going to do great. And we wish you well. But being prepared is certainly a good idea.
Yeah.
But let's say you're early in your career. Mm-hmm. I'll bet you've got a friend who's between jobs
Yeah, exactly.
who would love to go see the country with you.
Right.
Offer to buy him some meals
Right.
and then come see the country with you.
Right. And they can run your merch
Yeah.
for you if they're technically inclined at all. Maybe they can help with the gear.
Yeah.
You can certainly at least show them how to pack up and load out so that you can go talk to
Exactly.
fans while they're packing up for you.
Well,
Maybe
and at a higher level, there have been people that we've seen do that over the years.
Mm-hmm.
When Janice Ian used to
Right.
tour
Right.
by herself. She had this one guy that was her road manager and her tech guy, like would
Yeah.
do sound or do lights or whatever if the club didn't have that. And also he ran her merch table, and he was a monster.
Right.
He would like sell merch like mad.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, be in these little rooms with 100 people.
Exactly.
Sell to 50 or 60 of the people in the
Right.
room.
Right.
And that freed her up to have real, honest to God, one-on-one interactions with other people, which was good for her fan building.
No,
right?
exactly.
And to fan maintenance. Well, I
Exactly.
mean, it sounds weird, but
No. But
you know what I mean? Like
but to keep up those relationships.
because
Yeah.
this is one of the things going back to the why do I care?
Mm-hmm.
These are people,
Right.
and they deserve your attention.
Right.
They
Yeah.
made up their whole week or their whole month maybe
Yeah.
to figure out a way to get to your show, and bought the ticket and
Yes.
stood in line and
Yes.
bought your merch and listened to you tell your ridiculous little stories from the stage about the night you saw
Exactly.
the alien in the McDonald's parking lot, and right. So
Yes.
they deserve
Exactly.
that one-on-one attention,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
BB King used to stay
Right.
to take a picture with and shake hands with whoever stayed to meet him
Mm-hmm. Right.
after the show.
Well, Taylor
At
Swift did the same
every
thing.
show.
Taylor Swift did the same thing.
I don't know
when
that
she, early
Taylor
on.
Swift is still doing
No,
that
she's
now.
not doing it anymore. But as long as she was playing in venues,
Right.
that when she was first cutting her teeth and first coming up,
Yeah.
when she was playing in venues where there were even up to 1,000 people, she would stay until everybody who wanted
Yes.
an autograph and a picture got one.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's a great on your way up story.
Yes, it is.
BB King one is
Well, it's on your way down.
not even on your way, just on
Well,
your.
he's not. I mean, he certainly was not playing stadiums anymore.
No, but
you
he
know
was
what I mean?
still playing like how big's the casino? That's like 2,500 people, right?
Yeah.
And he would stay
Until everybody who
until
wanted one got one.
Everybody who wanted to,
Totally.
and he was like 75, 80 years old,
Right.
doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So if BB King, who had to have a chair for his show, would stay and take a picture and say hi to
Yeah,
everybody. You
right.
can do it
Yes.
and hang out and listen to somebody's story.
Exactly.
And it will make you feel better. It will
will.
make you feel less alone.
Yeah, it makes you feel it's that human interaction,
Yeah.
right? And that's so crucial
Oh, dude,
to that, right?
It's so important. Well, and
Yeah.
if you can't have somebody with you, make sure you're really reaching out to people
Yes.
after the show.
No, exactly. Well, that's what we talked about in the first.
Have somebody you can
Yeah.
call on your way when you're driving.
Yeah.
Have somebody you can
Yeah, for
text
sure. Yes.
pictures to between sets.
Not while you're driving.
No.
Don't text while you're driving.
But don't text while you're driving. But you can
Exactly.
call while you're driving.
Yes, you
hands
can.
free.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Bluetooth or a headset or whatever.
Right. Absolutely.
Not headgear. That'd be like that's with your.
That's right. No beats while you're driving. That's not a good idea.
Oh no, I meant like headgear from braces.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you need it. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, but that doesn't help people hear you.
No, it doesn't. And
But it
won't-
might. I don't know.
It probably
Unless you're
won't
in-
make you feel less lonely.
No,
That would be my guess. It's not really going to help with that.
you're probably gonna feel more lonely.
You
for
probably
that.
will.
That's-
You probably will.
It's not forever.
It's not.
It's not forever, guys. But the headgear might make you
Exactly.
feel more lonely. That's just
So the other idea that we learned about recently that had never occurred to me before, but that I love when we learned about this when we interviewed Alice Paul,
right.
right? The mentor-mentee relationship.
Yeah.
So one of the things that and Ellis is really famous for being a solo road warrior,
Dude,
right? I mean,
I've seen his schedules. We've talked to him about it. I occasionally will just look at his tour schedule
it
and
makes me tired just looking at it.
and man, he's so good at it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, forget about his talent.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just his
Yeah.
songwriter talent or his singing talent or his guitar playing talent
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. The talent, what he does with an audience.
Yeah.
What it's like.
Yeah.
Being in a show where he's there.
Really a troubadour, a true troubadour. Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. Like I
Could
know
have done it 500 years ago.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it was
without a
gonna-
doubt.
Right.
And everybody would have done the same thing. They would have gathered
Yeah.
around the fire.
Exactly.
And told stories about,
Right.
Ellis Paul is coming to town. So, like,
And now
look,
he didn't mention this idea and directly tie it to not being alone when you're on the road.
no, I don't.
Right.
No, this was a
But it
conversation.
occurred-
It's something that he had done.
It certainly occurs to me that this is something that would help you be less lonely, right?
Right.
You see a young musician that you think is on their way up,
Yes.
and you offer them the opening slot
Yeah.
to your shows, and you bring them with you.
Yeah.
And you mentor them about how to do it.
Right.
And what to do.
Well,
right?
and this is an idea for somebody who is on your way up. If you want to learn more about touring, maybe you offer to somebody who's an established artist, I'll come play with you for free.
Right. Yeah.
I will come on the road with you.
Right.
I'll help you load in and load out. I'll help work your merch table. I can sell my merch.
Yeah.
And you can learn about what it's like to be on the road. You can maybe go out for a week.
Right. Well, and you can try your foot. Try your foot.
Try your foot in
dip your foot in. That's not even it. Dip
your head in the pool. But come up for air.
You could try your hand. Was what I was looking for.
Yep.
Different appendage. At fan building in a safer, more friendly environment.
Yeah.
Right. If hopefully you're going to pick somebody whose music is in the same genre as yours.
Totally.
And they've already got an audience there. Right.
Yeah.
And you can see how they do it and try it out yourself with a little bit less like being thrown to the lions.
Right.
Right. And trying to figure out how to do it on your own.
And if it's not a situation where it's appropriate for you to open for them, offer to be their merch person.
Yes.
And say, look, can I come out with you for a week and work your merch and help set up your stuff?
Exactly.
And see what it's like out there.
Yes.
Right. And again,
perfect idea.
Where it's important for you to be a good hang.
Right.
Nobody's going to want to take somebody out on the road who's a jerk or who doesn't know when to shut up.
You know what? Or who's a drag.
Don't
be negative.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not fun to be around somebody who's negative. Who's just always like, oh,
no,
how about the weather today?
Right, exactly. Can we have more rain? I mean, yeah, really. Yeah.
Well, these fries are awful. Of course the fries are awful.
Right.
Shut up.
Right.
Make a positive. Just pretend they're fine. Is it lying? No. Sometimes you have to kind of lie to yourself and be a little bit more positive than is appropriate.
Is that the best strawberry rhubarb pie you've ever had? Probably not.
No. But you know what?
So what?
You're in
It's
Idaho.
pie.
Just eat the pie. Shut up and eat the pie, man. And because that's part of the deal with being on the road.
Yeah.
Is you cannot just honestly assess what's going on the whole time.
No.
Because you know what? Sometimes it's awful to drive 500 miles.
Sure.
With nothing.
Right.
Across the Midwest.
Right.
If you've never driven across the Midwest, get ready.
Yeah.
It's just flat.
It's just really flat.
It all looks the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are we? I don't know. Exit
It's Tuesday.
312.
It's Tuesday.
It's
Get in the van.
Tuesday. Get in the van. But part of what you're learning to do, if you're going to survive the road at all, right, is how to entertain yourself.
Right.
How to have a pretend positive attitude.
It's great. It's really funny that what isn't flat in the Midwest?
What?
Is the enthusiasm of the fans.
Yes. No, you're exactly right.
Right. You might not be used to the
terrain,
and the environment, and the view that you've got going by the windows.
That's a great point.
Right. But you are on the way to go somewhere, and even if there's only 5 people there, you are on your way to go play music for people who made the decision to come out and see you. Right.
And that's the thing, is that the experience of being bored on the road is part of it.
Absolutely. It is a time-honored tradition.
Yes.
Right? Musicians forever have been going through that. Right?
Just get on the road, man.
You're just doing it. That's part of the gig.
That's part of the gig.
That's
and
part of what you do.
It's kind of like, I don't like staying up late. It's very important to me that I have a regular schedule.
I have to get 8 hours of sleep, and it has to be from 10 to 6.
I have certain TV shows that I really enjoy watching. Well, you know what?
I love that. There's a great Sean Colvin song where on her Grammy-winning album where she talks in one of the lyrics is she tried to
waiting for the latest Rolling Stone.
Yeah, well, and she remember having a television schedule.
Oh, that's not in the song though. She talked about that.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
okay, I thought
she
it was.
Got off the road because she was,
road warrior.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and got off the road was like, it was weird. I had a TV schedule.
Exactly.
Because normally you don't. I mean, no,
it's different now because you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want, pretty much.
I mean, really, can you imagine?
No.
Netflix?
No, I can't even imagine. And not just Netflix. How about Xfinity on demand?
Right, I know.
Right?
It's whatever when you're on the road. So, and this is the thing.
Right.
if you like to watch TV shows,
Yeah. You're okay.
while you're on the road. I mean,
Right.
if
Don't do
you're
it
driving,
while you're driving.
While you're driving, don't do it. But when you're having trouble falling asleep,
Right.
it's
Exactly.
a great thing to do.
So yes. So the point being, if you're somebody who needs a lot of stability and scheduling, and you're probably in the wrong industry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. Exactly.
Right. So it doesn't mean necessarily you could attempt to move to Nashville and be a songwriter and write from this, but probably not.
Here's the thing: if you move to Nashville and you're going to be a songwriter, you're
going to be competing with people who are going to be fine being up until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Going and watching other people play.
Be up
playing
late
their songs
and go meet
right,
people.
Exactly. Yeah. And I tried to throw him a bone, but
Yeah,
I just don't think there's any way.
and-
I just don't think there's any way to do it.
I'm ruthlessly honest about this
Yeah.
stuff, man.
Yeah.
You're much nicer than I am about that stuff. I'm always like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So, all right, before we forget though,
Yeah.
another option is doing a split.
Yeah, you could do a split tour.
If you have a friend who's sort of basically at the same level you are, little above, little behind,
Yeah.
right, whatever it is, go do a split tour.
Right, or they have a fan base, even if it's a small one in one area, and you have a fan base, even if it's a small one in another area.
Oh yeah,
right.
split areas and
right, do it together.
open for each other, and again, it's a communal idea where
Right.
you're not alone.
Right. So I'm really glad that you said communal, because we're talking about solo artists being lonely on the road, but solo artists can be lonely when you're in your hometown too.
True.
Right? I mean, New York's a big city. LA's
Right.
a big city. Nashville's
Right.
a big city. Chicago's a big city. Atlanta's a big city. Miami's a big city, right?
Yep.
And even if you're not in a big city, if you're not, you probably should be, but it's somewhere where there's a music scene
Yeah.
happening. Even in a smaller city, it can be lonely.
Yeah.
Being a solo artist. So what do you do?
And again, this is where I'm going to be harsher than you would be.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If you're lonely in a big city, that's on you.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It really is your responsibility to go out and find your community.
Yeah.
Right? Find your musical community.
Go out and see people play music.
Yeah.
Go listen to songs, and then
Yeah.
go have a drink with them afterwards. and
Right.
go get some food and find out what their deal is, and
Exactly.
write songs with them.
Be a good hang.
Be a good hang. Ask questions about them.
Them.
Don't make it all about
you.
Look, I understand you're in this because it's all about you.
Right.
You can't be in this if it's not,
If it's
all,
not
about
all
you.
about you.
You'll
Yeah.
never
I
be
think we
successful.
I think we actually did a show about that.
I think you're right. Yeah, being self-focused.
Both self-focused. Right.
But that doesn't mean you do all the talking. Doesn't mean all the stories were about you, right?
Exactly.
Like-
You want to do all the talking, start a podcast.
Right. Exactly. I just literally just plug in a microphone,
there you go.
start talking. People will probably think this is interesting. Is there a more
I don't think so.
self-involved pursuit than having a podcast?
Probably not.
You know what? I got these ideas so great. I just got to put them down on tape. People got to hear this stuff. Here's episode 1.
Another story about me.
Here, you know what else I think about? I think this is important for you to know. I don't know. So look,
Okay, hey man.
we hear you.
Yeah,
It's okay for
It's
it to be
right.
all about you, right?
exactly.
But like we're doing
remember,
a little bit.
Remember, we were artists.
We were
so-
right. But like we're doing, make it a little bit about the other people too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because people are interesting. If you
Yeah.
will open yourself up to it,
Yes.
people are fascinating. And if you're a songwriter, you
Yeah.
want to be listening to other people anyway.
Not only do you want to be listening to other people, you need to be listening to other
Yeah,
people.
that's how you write about interesting things.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you're all writing about what's in your head,
Yeah. At
some point that's going to run out.
well, and if it doesn't run out, it's going to get redundant.
Right. You know
Right.
what nobody wants
And
to
we've
hear?
experienced that with a lot of artists.
You know
right?
what nobody wants to hear a whole album about? Being on the road.
No.
Nobody.
People don't even want to hear a song about being on the road.
One. And you know what? Bob
Maybe.
Seger already wrote it.
And he wrote it. It's
And
been
Willie,
written.
okay, Bob Seger wrote the sad one,
And Willie Nelson
wrote the happy one.
It's done.
It's done. No more road songs.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
We
You know
just
why?
don't.
Because nobody relates to it.
Right.
You know who relates to it? Other musicians. You know who's
Exactly.
not going to buy your records and go
Yes.
out to your shows? Other musicians. So why don't you write some songs that are going to be interesting to you and to other people who aren't touring musicians.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right.
I suppose you could make an argument that Wanted Dead or Alive is another one of those road songs. Right?
Yeah, it's like that's like an artist.
That's the angsty one.
That's the, my life is so hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, Bon Jovi, Wicked Heart. Yeah, Steel Horse, gotcha. Yeah, it's brutal, man.
Steel Horse, he rides.
I feel wicked bad for you, Bon. John.
Yeah.
But that's a good road
Yeah.
song. That's a good song.
But so having the community in the
Now that song's stuck in my head.
I know. I had to do it too because it came to me when you started doing that. Exactly.
It's a great part.
Focus.
Great. Sorry.
Focus Adam song.
It's a great guitar song.
Having the community in the area that you live
Yeah.
is the other thing that's going to be crucial.
Yeah.
Crucial. Not just because you're going to feel less alone, but you're going to hear about gigs.
Yeah, oh,
you're going
totally.
to hear about who's up and coming.
Yeah.
Who is coming into town. It's a way to meet new people. It is a way to fan build in your area.
Yeah, but
for sure. But it's really more about having somebody who's going to share stories with you
and keep you inspired.
Yeah,
Maybe get you a little bit competitive.
Which is not a bad thing.
You know what I mean? You're like, wow, man.
Wow, they're really
This
doing
room
it.
is full.
Right.
This room is not always this full when I'm playing
Exactly.
here.
All right. What are they doing?
What are they doing?
What did they do?
All right, it's like roll your sleeves up.
Exactly.
All
All
right,
right.
here we go.
Exactly.
Here we go. I got sitting in the. Exactly. Where you're like,
Right? Clap those hands together and rub
I
them.
gotta do it. Here we go.
What do I got to do here?
But whatever it takes to get you inspired,
Yeah.
and turn up the volume on your drive, and get you doing the things that you need to do,
Yeah.
to propel your career forward.
Right. And feel positive when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? This is the whole point of this, right? Is that if you are feeling lonely and alone, and that's going to just pull you down.
Yes.
And
Now,
bring nothing but more negativity.
Now you might get some great songs out of it. Okay, if you need to be there for a while,
but you're not going to get enough great songs to sustain you.
well, and you're not going to sustain a career.
No, you can't.
You cannot sustain a career and be Eeyore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Yeah,
I mean, I suppose you could, but not be a solo artist,
yeah.
right? Because you're going to need some energy to do the other things you need to do.
Right. Not if you want to live past 27.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's right.
Agreed.
So
yes, here's the thing.
So we've talked about this before, but finding your musical community is one of those things that will be crucial to your mental health.
Absolutely.
Right? It will be one of those things that will sustain you, that will uplift you, that will, when you are feeling down, helping someone else up.
Yes.
Will lift you up.
Absolutely makes you feel way better.
Having friends in the musical community that will be there for you if you need something.
And your community on the road are the fans, the people coming to your shows, the people you're staying with, the people that you're splitting bills with, the people that work at the clubs,
Right.
the
And
people
look, man,
that
if it's your first tour, maybe it is friends of friends, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a family that you've known since you were a kid, or that your folks have known.
maybe
since,
you start doing some house concerts. If you haven't
Exactly.
done some house concerts, do some house concerts.
Exactly.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
That talk
And-
about real fan building.
and look for your previous life connections, right?
Right.
So Up With People, folks, are all about
Right.
sustaining each other,
Yeah.
right? And you've got high school friends, I'm sure, that are somewhere in the world.
Exactly
right.
right.
That, and it's easy to find them now.
Facebook,
Right,
man.
you get Facebook, right? So, but there are ways to look for your community before you even leave,
Right.
right? And then reinforce that by making those connections.
Yeah.
Right. Again, we can't stress enough that this is going to be important for your mental health.
Yeah.
We want you to be able to stay up, and when you're not up, be pulled up.
Yeah.
Right back to that place, because when you're feeling good, you're more productive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And what do you need to be?
Productive.
You got to be productive.
You gotta be productive, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or you're just going to get lost in the weeds.
It just
That's
feels
it.
like it's all up to me. I mean, it is.
Well, it is.
It is all up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Exactly.
and that's fine, because we keep wanting to say, look, you're not alone. I mean,
Right.
you are alone.
yeah, but
It's your career,
it is your career.
but you don't have to be lonely.
But you don't have to be lonely, right? You don't have to always be alone.
and you don't have to do it
Right.
all by yourself.
Exactly.
Go find your community.
Yeah.
Go find some people to do some shows with. Go
Right.
go to other people's shows
Right.
when you're not on the road, or when you
Well,
are on the road.
yeah.
Right.
Well, and if you're already out on the road and you're listening to this and you didn't do any of this stuff beforehand,
Right.
so you don't have anybody in the passenger
And you're
seat
lonely?
with you.
This is our 91st episode. Okay? So even if there were only a half hour and there was only 90 of them, that's 45 hours worth of us talking at you.
That should get you through the trip.
Right?
And we promise it's going to be positive.
It'll all be basically like this, just different subjects.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Talk to some people.
Yeah. Make some friends.
Make some friends.
And remember, you got this.
We got your back.